sometime in the next few hours, that number will click over to 12. It's yet another US Open final between two players who've not been to it before. 5th time in a row that's happened. So we will have our 5th successive first-time winner.
Here we go, Michael. The all-important lag.
It's Kopin Chung who wins the leg.
You might think in a race to 13, well, the lag doesn't have that much of an impact over that distance. But after what we saw this afternoon from Kopin Chung, did have particular significance. Here we go then, the final of the 2023 United States Open.
Well, he's made the one again. That's 12 on the spin. And what did I say? No shot on the lowest ball.
Yeah.
Push out called.
Well, Carl, I mean, I know you're a genius, but that one there, I think you were playing the odds. But considering what he did in the semifinal, maybe not. And here we are. We talked about it in the opening that I really think we're going to get to see, you know, the brilliance of both these players on the push out after the break. And, you know, of course, it's not going to be every game, but pay attention to not only the brilliance of where you push out, but what you come with after.
Well, I'll tell you what I've spotted here. He did this against Yap in the opening rack. He laid the cue ball on the rail with a long shot, an attempt to. Yap took it on, missed it by a mile.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it was funny. I made a mistake earlier in the opening saying that Yap hadn't played, or Yap and Chung hadn't played a match on there. Of course, Chung did, right? Kopin Chung.
Please play again.
But really, Yap still hasn't played a match on there.
No, not really. So Fedor didn't take this shot on. Yap did.
Yeah, is there some kisses here if he's trying to move the cue ball safe? Yeah, definitely probably if he's going forward, meaning banking the 2 towards the 8, 1 rail off the bottom cushion. Could get a kiss. Yeah. And the funny thing is, that's where other disciplines kind of teach you those things right there. Okay. Could lay him down behind the 7, the brown 7 with the cue ball. Could go up behind the purple 5, which most would. He's going behind the 7.
May leave a jump shot, you know, may be able to get over both balls.
Oh yeah, he can get over both balls, and the kick isn't terrible either. That's why I was saying maybe go behind the purple with the cue ball, just because you're not ever leaving this jump.
The extension, please.
I'll tell you the way this sits, going over 2 balls, he may make it and just stop his ball behind the pink, not intending to get snookered on the 3.
That's what's happened. So jump cue will stay in Ko's hand. Can he come with back-to-back jump shots? This one is a little harder though. It's not dead straight. Just keep using the jump cue.
Talk about picking up where you left off.
Well, that's why, I mean, you know, if Kopin Chung or Fedor Gorst break and get a lot of shots, they're totally prepared. Now, nerves can set in, but that's why we expect a close final, because we expect both to get some opportunity and certainly take advantage.
Can he chop this ball in the side?
Yeah, this is where it fools you a little bit. He can actually beat going to the 8 with the cue ball, but boy, he's really good at that thin one, soft speed.
Those 2 jump shots just exuded so much confidence. It would be astonishing if he wasn't full of that after what he did earlier.
When you talk about a gritty out, you know, he's a little out of line here as well. And what happens is, when you start getting in the zone, and not saying he's quite there yet, I mean, he certainly was there earlier and he's been mostly there all week, is you really trust a lot of things going on. You don't worry about the aim too much. You don't even really aim all that much anyways. Just kind of get subconscious with a lot of things.
Trying to come down the bottom of the table to beat the 9-ball. Well, this is just a fabulous start. I know this rack is not over, but he's played a few shots so far that have been real nice. Every shot, in fact. This is the easiest of the lot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This would be a real gritty out to start a U.S. Open final. You can come either side of the 9. That's the most simple, I think, smartest play.
Chung.
Well, what a signal he's sending at the start here. His perfect day continues. 2 wonderful jump shots. Everything else was pretty good as well. Chung leads 1-0, and when you consider how he finished off against Lechner, and then the match earlier today, and now this. Well, what's that? 15 racks in a row now he's won against 3 fine players. And these are some of the key moments of that opener. Carl, I'm going to ask you first. How many players have won both the World Championship and the US Open?
How many players?
All time.
I'm thinking. Let me think.
The second rack.
JJ, what's your bid?
I'm counting them down right now.
He's actually putting a lot of thought into it.
Yeah. I got 5 real quick. Of course, there's way more than that. And I haven't even thought of the new era players, just the ones I played with way back.
Well, let's leave that there for a bit. Fedor Gorst, hoping to join that list. Chung has other ideas.
This is just ridiculous.
Yeah, not coming away with the shot, but it won't be the push out this time. I think that was a better break off than the first. It just seemed a little crisper, and just the timing seemed better. What safety like here, Carl? There's a few of them.
Yeah, he could get the cue ball running towards the 6. 5-ball might play a big case as well.
I was going to say, put the 2 up there and try and use that 7, 9, and all that as well while trying to go behind the 6.
This guy's speed control is very scary. This is the task Fedor Gorst has got in hand in this match. He's had a small taster in rack 1.
Wonderful to see. The arena here at Harrah's full. US Open was played in Virginia from its beginning in 1976 till it moved to Las Vegas in 2019, and no championship the next year because of COVID. 3rd year in a row here.
Well, that was totally by design and perfectly struck.
They've come to have a good time, and it looks as though they're going to get it.
Yeah, these are the safeties you don't really come up with that often. Maybe a rail first here, Carl? Catch the 2 and drift the cue ball towards the green 6?
May I just ask you to switch the mobile phones off or put them at least on silent? Thank you. The extension, please.
Well said. Marcel Eckert, referee in the final. Yeah, it's landed a little awkward this. Fedor made a good kick and stick. Kept the cue ball there. Everything else was relying on a little bit of luck.
We'll see where he aims here. If you're familiar, like I said, you can hit rail first, chip the 2, and let the cue ball kind of bleed behind the 6. That's kind of the shot I like.
I think he's playing that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Now he's left the bank to one of the best in the business banking the ball. But I think that was a good enough. I mean, that's a good attempt because you have some value there. The two's not going away anywhere. You do have a chance to get the snooker.
Fedor Gorst, 23 years of age, wouldn't quite be the youngest US Open winner. Joshua Filler was 21 in 2019.
Well, interesting. He really must not have liked the bank because I thought he would shoot at that myself anyways.
Yeah, maybe it was a little high, the 2-ball. On the old slidey table. Good safety.
Yeah, he's going to have to hit before the side. This is the difference on the slidey table. Older tables, the outer tables, you could go pass with English. Now I think he's got to actually go the opposite before the side.
Needs a bit of luck.
He's going to get it.
Well, very tight this. It's difficult for us to see.
I don't think it's makeable. Now, I could be wrong for sure.
If you can't... Go on, JJ,
go ahead,
sorry.
Carl. No, go ahead.
I'm just saying, if you can't quite make it, you can play with a bit of left. Turn it over.
Yeah, especially when you're close to it, you can really manipulate the ball.
Extension, please.
Tell you what, he's got a funny safety if he's got to try and chip this and run the cue ball.
Looks like he's playing the chip shot, doesn't he? Coming off the edge, he's got to watch the 4-ball.
He's hit this beautifully. Both these players have come prepared.
Yeah, what a safety shot from the young man. Trying to get his hands on that trophy right there.
Chung turned 28 on Monday of last week. He's ranked number 10 in the world, having shot up from 22nd at the start of 2023. He's 2 places lower than Gorst.
Needs to catch a rail.
Yeah, he needs some help here.
Foul stroke. No rail after contact, ball in hand.
For anyone who might not be familiar with Nineball, Carl, just explain to us what happened there.
Yeah, basically after contact, once you hit the lowest ball, any ball on the table must strike a rail. Unless you pot the ball like Fedor just did. If you pot the ball, it's fine. It's when you're playing safe or coming out of a hook.
Yeah, and I think it's exchanges like we just saw in this game, or we've seen in this game, that are going to be some determining factors. Because I think players are going to put a rack or two behind it during this long race to 13 and vice versa. Spoke with Fedor for just a moment. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay. That's a little the difference between, you know, the table we played on all week compared to our finals and semifinals table. But even some of those will hang on this table, depending on the speed. But Fedor said he got a little bit of a nap on the break. Said earlier in his semifinal, a little short on sleep last night. I didn't sleep a wink the night before I played, or the final day, I mean.
I thought you meant last night.
No.
Was he nervous about this?
No, I slept. Okay, look, he's got to go a long ways to get on the 7. Somewhat important, he falls somewhat straight to get easy position on the 8.
That's nice, that little bounce. That just means he can just get the cue ball off the rail. That just means playing the 8 ball just is very easy.
No, that's huge, that little bounce, especially early in the set. You know it's a pretty stress-free 3 balls here to get on the board.
We were talking earlier about the matches he's played in single elimination. His closest contest actually came before that in the winner's qualification round to get to the final 64 when American Nicolas de Leon pushed him as far as 9-7. All square in the early stages then. It's a long, long road to 13, but you've got to start somewhere, and they've both now taken that first step. Right, guys, you've had a whole rack to think about it. What are your bids? Players who've won both the World Championship and the US Open, the two standout titles in the sport.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I quit thinking about it, but I got to 6 real quick, so
I'm going to say...
I'm going to say 10. No, I'm going to say 12. 12 players.
Right, I'm going to go for... I was going to say 10.
Well, let's see.
11.
Well, if this is a preview of the Mosconi Cup, then USA are going to beat Europe in December, because you're spot on, JJ.
12?
12 is the total, yeah.
Wow, I got 6 real quick, and I decided to just double it. So,
There've been quite a few additions to the list in recent years. Joshua Filler, by winning this championship, as we look at the Berman siblings there, in 2019, completed the double in the space of a few months. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz did the same, but the other way round earlier this year. And in between, Carlo Biado and Shane Van Boning had both put themselves on that illustrious list. Fedor Gorst hoping to join it tonight.
okay. The first real offensive shot after the break, and it's a good one. Watch the 8. Did the 8 land on the point, or is it open? That could be an ugly ball on the right side of the table towards the end of the rack.
Yeah, also, where exactly is this 6 ball finished?
Yeah, I know what you mean, Carl. I think he may have to jam it, maybe even play the 6 on a kiss. I don't know. You can see how tight these pockets are. Very little room besides the 6 to squeeze the 2 by. He's looking at the combination. Now, what's the 8 look like? He doesn't look too worried. But that is, if it's along that point, that's the absolute worst place you can put an object ball for a pool player.
Yeah, but if you look where the pink 4 is...
Yeah, he can work it. He can do things.
He can do things. I think the 8's...
Okay.
Yeah, tough to see.
Well, I think it would have got his attention a little bit. You know, it being on the point, it's something the players recognize quickly. So position on the 3, just disregard the 8. Pretty important to get on the pink 4. But the 7 kind of near.
Fedor Gorst, as I was saying earlier, is number 8 in the world rankings. Even if he loses this final, he'll be into the top 5. If he wins, he'll be world number 4, and only just marginally behind Joshua Filler in 3rd.
Thought that was always going to be awkward, the angle you had with the 9 being there. Now the 7's there. May have to end up shooting this 5 from some distance.
Yeah, and if he runs into the 7, he wants to make sure that 7 bounces off the back rail.
Yeah, but then the cue ball would be continuing further downward, so I think this is very awkward. I'm not sure he's even shooting at it.
Wow.
Oh, and it leaked.
That surprised me a little bit, JJ.
Yeah, I'm surprised that, you know, he may not have even forced it there, just because what's his make rate on the pink 4, even if he is putting loads of spin and all that. It's a high percentage for a guy like that. So maybe the clock got to him there a little bit.
Listen, he's out there, he's behind the shot, so it's down to Fedor.
It was awkward, though.
Extension.
You know, not to judge Fedor Gorst, and just for you fans at home, it was a funny situation, even though he was near.
This is no good.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have tried to get the purple to the purple, right? You know, just play the object ball down on the bottom rail.
He was absolutely free-flowing towards the end of that semi-final against Lucius Yap. Knew the match was pretty much done and dusted in those last few racks, and now he's got to switch his thinking again. It's a whole new contest. Things won't come as easily here. Gorst has already won more racks than Yap did. Gorst has been based here in the United States for some years now. He's had travel issues getting to some of the big events over the last couple of years, but much more of a full schedule in 23 on the international stage, and he's been steadily building towards this. Good showings at the Spanish Open and the European Open over the summer. Got to the quarterfinals of both of them. So, for the first time across his 2 matches today, Chung is going to find himself trailing. Because Fedor Gorst has won the 3rd rack. He's 2-1 up in the very early exchanges of this US Open final. the latest big new development in the game of pool. 14th of October will be the start of the Sky Sports coverage at 5 a.m. By that stage, the field of 256 will have played down to the final 16. It's such a big year for Asian pool. Chung hoping to add to that by winning the US Open, but he's 2-1 down.
What's the 4 gonna do? This makes a difference here. Doesn't necessarily make it easier, because he's got to really control this 2-4-5 combo to keep control of the 2 to get back on the 3. But you still got to like it if you're Fedor.
Yeah, 100%. All you want is a shot. He could play it off the left edge, I suppose, and then end up shooting the 2 in the top right corner.
I think so, because the cue ball's going to go a little left towards the center anyways. Put a little speed on it. That's the problem. Sometimes the hit isn't exactly right. And now a huge shot here in game number 4. He will not back down from this.
Extension called.
He's just got to figure out the cue ball path to get on the 3. Does he have to do much here, Carl? Can he just kind of hold the ball for a tough cut shot? We'll see in a moment. You know, just pinch it out a little bit, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's kind of in between. He's going to fall towards that upper right corner a little bit if he just holds the ball. If he really tries to work the cue ball, there's a ton of traffic. Got to believe, though, safety is really not in the mind here.
Yeah, and if he sends the cue ball round, like you said, the 9 ball's there, the 7 ball's there. Miss the bank.
And it's not a bank that Fedor Gorst misses very often. It was all about the cue ball and getting on that red 3. And I think he served up a nice one with an easy angle to get on the 3 ball.
Chance got on the opening shot is where that rack started to fall apart.
As I said, Chung recently turned 28, but he's been around for a really long time already. He was only 15 when he got to the final of the All Japan Championship. Big event with a strong field. Runner-up to Torsten Homan. 5 years after that, he was in the World semi-finals for the first time, heavily beaten by Shane Van Boening, who then lost to Chung's brother, Yi, in the final. He's since been in the last 4 of the World Championship again. In 2019, when he was beaten by the eventual champion, Fedor Gorst.
And you got to appreciate all the effort and the time spent, because these two make hard work look easy. And that's what they're doing out there, just steadily working. Just a little speed control coming one rail. He'll spread the angle. That way the speed doesn't have to be so good.
This final's in the balance. This is the start we wanted for both players.
Chung went through it.
And it's a start which leaves us even after 4 racks. 2 all. Both of these players, I'm sure, are very aware, Jeremy, of the history of this great championship. You, as an American, on the day you won it 20 years ago, must have been even more so.
Yeah, it was incredible. I watched it the other day when, of course, Matchroom posted it, and I kind of watched towards the end and kind of what my face was doing. You could tell I kind of wanted to keep hitting balls. I didn't know what to do. I just won the U.S. Open, and it was just a few moments later it kind of started to sink in. And I don't know if it's ever fully sunk in, to be honest with you, Michael. It's I get real giddy every time around this event.
2003 was a good year to be an American playing in a U.S. Open, because Jim Furyk won the U.S. Open golf that year and Andy Roddick won the U.S. Open tennis.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a funny story about that for me that year is I first started with the Houston Open where I'm from, which is a pretty prestigious event in Houston and Texas. I won that, undefeated.
The 5th rack.
And then I went to the Texas Open, which is a little bigger, where I'm from, won it undefeated. The very next tournament I played in, U.S. Open, and I went undefeated. That was kind of a neat little stretch for me, about 40 days worth.
Great times.
Oh boy, the 2's near, but what's the 5 doing?
You could see the template there. Now and again that will happen. The cue ball come up to the template and it kind of just stopped and rocked back. It's a very thin piece of plastic. It's to ensure all the balls are touching. Let's see if we can see it here. Watch it rock back.
Yeah, and you would think, well, why is that there? I mean, the rack is so important, and the thing about that rock back that you get just every 20 or 30 games, sometimes it goes with you, sometimes it goes against you, and sometimes, like right here, it didn't mean much.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I've seen it this championship.
Yeah.
Well, that template is so thin, when you hold one, you can barely believe it's there. So it has to be going extremely slowly.
Oh,
the cue ball to be repelled. Fine shot there.
Yeah, also, the cue ball was not going behind the 9, so it actually didn't matter. It was just something I spotted.
Yeah, and he's got to figure this out because hard to get a lot of speed on this. The 2's not really going to want to exit a lot. So how do you play
Extension,
it?
please.
Do you play underneath, just trying to go 2 rails and get the 2 to the side rail and play from there? You really try to get some separation. I think you give a better chance of selling out a good shot. Right, going for the make.
Well, that's what you do. You put Little Cole back in trouble. What a kick shot.
Yeah, that's just like the kick and stick you see where they come behind the ball. The top English actually reverses and kind of acts like draw on contact with the object ball. But I didn't think he could get enough speed the way the cueing was. Oh, there's a little gap.
The extension, please.
So I got to believe he's going to... Oh, he's jumping this.
The 2 he knocked in the opening rack. He's putting together his own personal jump shot highlights reel here.
Settle down, please. Thank you.
Well, Hannah had asked about, the differences in the players, and one of the things I immediately said, you got to give the jumping edge to Fedor Gorst, but I couldn't have been more wrong.
And this is how well you have to play the jump shot to edge Gorst in that category.
Cole would have fancied potting the 3-ball there. That was the intention, I believe.
Yeah, you can tell he wants it, though. Kind of through the body at the hit of the 3. No jump cue this time. He's looking at a 3-rail angle. It looks like the 8's in the way of the 3-rail angle to me. Like he's going to get on top of the 6.
Yeah, don't forget the rail as well. He's got to make sure he contacts a rail, so he's got to get it. Got to hit a rail.
Foul stroke.
Yeah.
No contact. Throw with the rail after contact. Falling in.
Yeah.
And please start the shot clock.
Fans really appreciate the effort. Just remember that type of shot if you want to get more speed. Stay away from a high ball. You have to hit more center of the cue ball.
Second time in the first 5 racks we've seen ball in hand for that reason. Bit unusual.
Yeah, he's going to get a little off angle here. I think he should be okay, but.
I mentioned this is the 5th final in a row where both of them are playing in the US Open final for the first time. It's also the 5th time in a row no American in the final. That had never happened from the event's inception in 1976 until Ralph Souquet beat Alex Pagulayan in 2002. Now it's happened 9 times in total.
A little loose there from Fedor. He's just giving himself some work to do now.
Yeah, absolutely. You could immediately hear him kind of grimace with the strike of the cue ball in the last, and now cueing over the 9, and he's got to draw the cue ball, and the speed needs to be somewhat nice.
Needs a flick. The flick will do.
Yeah, he knew the line was funny, so he drew it cautiously. Just kind of get the feeling there's going to be no miss of, you know, real sorts. We saw a miss on a bank that required a lot of speed, but open shots, it seems like no mistakes from these two.
So for the second time, Gorst leads by a single rack at 3-2. Well, I talked about Chung looking to put together his own personal jump shot highlights reel. Here it is. People always talk about the fact that the modern cues have made this a little less difficult. It's still quite a skill to have. But how does that work, JJ? What is it about the modern equipment that helps the players with the jump shots?
Well, I mean, just all the technical people have figured out the weights, you know, the different materials to not only get power, but not much distortion at impact. And just, you know, there's different theories on it, but, you know, different lengths for different types of jumps, meaning how close the object ball that's interfering is to the cue ball. You'll see players change the configuration depending on the shot.
The match by 3 racks to 2.
Fedor Gorst is also putting a break clinic together as well.
Once again, please, ladies and gents, may I ask you to check whether your phones are at least on silent?
He's got like a little
push-out code,
rubber grip of some sort. Sure,
yeah,
look at some point.
He started using that about 5 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. Now I see the difference in his break is he's getting a little easier spreads, meaning you can tell the balls just don't want to cluster up when Federer's at the breaking end. And there, I think he's starting every break to get a little more power.
It's your choice.
And that's not probably conscious. That just means more comfort, meaning the stroke's getting a little more comfortable, so the results are getting better. Super touchy safety here. I mean, if you got to cut the 2, the 7's a big ball, and you got to roll out tough. You got to push out tough, especially at this level. I don't know what I do here. This I may pass this one. Not easy to gauge coming backwards with a high left ball to get behind the 3 on the slick table. See that? Now the 2's going to get, because he was worried about hitting the 7 with the 2. He's worried about the cue ball. When you have a real negative angle and you can't dig on the bottom of the ball on the slick table, it's very, very hard to judge both the object ball and the cue ball.
Yeah, so Fedor tempted Ko there. Ko decided to play the shot and it's gone wrong. So
Extension,
Fedor
please.
winning the battle of the push out.
Yeah, we talked about at the beginning of the show how important the push out would be. And, you know, a long time ago, Nick Varner helped me. He always helped me a lot, just discussions and different thoughts. And he always said, I never pass the push out. But when you're on a table, you know, everything isn't always what you're practicing on, and different kind of shots. I think you got to look at it, and kind of go with your gut a little bit. Nice, simple decision there, just to get as quickly on the 3 ball as he can. Looks like he can easily come 2 rails between the 4-5 for the pink in the lower left. Oh, now he's killing the ball. Interesting he didn't let that run there, Carl. Not saying this was the wrong shot or anything, but normally if the path is natural, there's no real interfering balls, you're going to run the cue ball above the 4 there for the shorter pocket. Got to go forward a little bit so he can reach it easily. Oh no, he just played the stop.
There's a man who knows all about winning the US Open. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, the champion of 12 months ago, sitting next to David Alcaide, who won the European Open only last month. Bit of Spanish politics going on there. That's the Spain A team from the World Cup at that table. The B team, Jona Suto Camino and Jose Alberto Delgado, appear to have been banished to the table behind. Got to earn your place at the top table in this game.
Yeah, well, David, who lost Hill, I think it was Zelensky. What an awful. He got 3 kisses on the cue ball on the break, Hill, and it scratched.
Alcaide was actually one of the players Chung defeated here in Atlantic City last year on his way to the semis. The B team. Both of those sides were actually knocked out of the World Cup by the eventual winners, the Philippines. Come on, David, you must be used to being in front of a camera by now.
Well, I think it was the T-shirt of Delgado. I don't think Alcaide can believe he's got the audacity to wear that in public.
Giving Spain a bad name. And our first 2-game lead possibly here.
Yeah, never been more than a rack in it either way.
Little shy of pace. If he comes 2 feet more, even a foot, is guaranteed. So this will just make him bear down. That's why he's come round to have a look. Just reassure that the pocket is still there.
So for the second time in this final, Fedor Gorst has won back-to-back racks. This time it puts him 2 clear. It's 4-2. Fedor Gorst lost the opening rack of this US Open final to Chung, but he's won 4 out of 5 since then. He leads 4-2. And both players having a little breather and coming back in to this packed Harrah's Arena. Well, the Stars and Stripes did make it into the US Open final, one way or another. Such a big pool culture in this country, massive participation. It's a huge industry here as well. It's 2 players from other corners of the world battling it out for the Barry Berman Trophy, which goes with the most historic title in pool. 4-2 to Gorst. We've not had a break and run from either player yet in this final. This might be a chance.
Incredible, really, because I believe both players have pocketed the one every break, but clearly just can't get a look.
Yeah, Chung really hasn't had the run-out opportunity, even though he's had a couple of looks at the 2, but just one ball or another has really kind of cut him off something offensive. Not the case here. First chance to get the feeling of this match getting stretched out a little bit.
He's been such a good finisher of matches this week. He was a rack behind in the early stages against the champion of 2 years ago, Carlo Biado, in the last 16. Turned it round to win 10-7.
Looking for a little soft angle to come across the purple near the right middle pocket.
Much more pronounced than that Biado match. It was earlier today against Alexa Pejchelj in the semis. The Serbian was 5-1 up and flying. Gorst then won 10 of the next 11 racks. So if that's how good he is at finishing matches as an opponent, you don't want to see him make a good start as well. That's the way it's heading.
Just kind of float this, I think, anyways. No reason to go any more than one rail. The 8 goes to both pockets, so be hard not to fall on, something straight or a soft angle to move over for the 8 now. He's elevating the cue a little bit, so is he going 3 rails here, it looks like? Oh, no, he's just going to float it.
Yeah, obviously the natural angle was going towards the 7. Could have gone 3 rails, like JJ said.
The extension, please.
And odds are, bumping the 7, such an open area, and you're definitely going to be off the rails, so the entire cue ball is going to be available no matter how they lay. You notice he knew he may bump it, so it wasn't much speed. Didn't want it to go too far.
Digging down low on the cue ball. Bit of momentum happening here now for Gorst.
Well, this is the sort of ruthless efficiency we saw from him in turning things around against Pejchelj earlier today. And in the 7th rack, we're finally going to have our first break and run.
Fedor Gorst wins it.
And that's why Fedor Gorst now leads 5-2. Chung looking to turn this around and become the 2nd player from Chinese Taipei to win the US Open. You might just remember the other one, Carl.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
saying that Chung is looking to be the second player from Chinese Taipei to win the US Open, and I'm very surprised Carl doesn't seem to remember the other time.
I think he does.
And he does. He's just messing with us here.
Is somebody talking? My headset's gone off.
So 2015 it was. You played Kevin Chang in the final. You were hoping to become only the second British winner at that time. Jason Shaw has since done that. What was it like playing in the final of this historic championship?
Listen, I enjoyed it. It was a good week down there. Beat a lot of good players. Didn't get much opportunity in the final. I remember a certain 8-ball, long 8-ball down the rail.
The 8th rack. Fedor goes to break, leading by 5 racks to 2.
To try and claw back some sort of hope, but I missed the 8-ball, and I think he put a couple of 4-packs together, or a 4 and a 3 or something. He played great. He actually beat me twice that week. He was the only person to beat me.
All right, the 2's coming towards that side. The cue ball near the 9, and this could be a problem for Fedor Gorst. And again, the push out. We'll see what kind of response
Push out cold.
Chung has for Fedor Gorst after he repositions the cue ball. Okay, I like the side rail. Just a little over by the 6 probably. Kind of leaving the cut very difficult, leaving the bank very difficult. He's looking up table. Can't leave a cross side bank, that's for sure.
And it's your choice, Chung.
This is a little different. This one's a little more controllable. Kind of cutting the 2 and banking it to the middle of the end rail. Can he get the cue ball across maybe behind the 3 doing so? I think it ends up short. Yeah, I'm not in love with it on the slick table. Similar shot that cost him, what, 3 games? When he took on the push out? 2 games.
Speaking of numbers of racks, the background team here have been doing a bit of checking, and 16 was the total number of racks that Chung won in succession across 3 matches. Last 4 against Max Lechner in the quarters, all 11 against Aloysius Yap, and then the first in this final. Remarkable streak against players of that quality.
Oh, that was close. He may have felt he'd made the bank shot there. Well, we've seen Ko with the jump cue. So here we go again.
There you see adding a little more weight to the jump cue because the distance and wanting to dig on the cue ball, get a little draw. And the 6 is further away.
Yeah, and this just feels more important now. 5-2 down. Where's the cue ball?
The difference between that, staying above ground, toppling over, it's monumental.
Yeah, it had been an unfortunate scratch. Really an awesome effort. Jarred the pocket.
Gorst has also got the short stick in hand. He actually looked at the kick shot first.
Extension, please.
Doesn't feel like he can get through to the top rail.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, this is awkward. You know, the way it's sitting in that side pocket, it may be difficult to get to where you want to strike the jump shot. I think he can get this 2 down here on the bottom rail, even if he has to spin this a little bit, kicking in behind it. Kind of make it go towards that right side pocket, avoiding the pocket. Ko does have a shot. Nothing easy and very much an impeding ball for getting position on the red 3. He's going to have to gamble a little bit here with the cue ball.
It's gone wrong. It's gone majorly wrong.
Okay, this 2-rail kick here. He wants to come across it, sending the cue ball towards the 4-5. This kick's easily misjudged on the slick table. Now I like that angle he's on there. Oh, he's going 3. Maybe 5. Maybe 5.
Well, it's brought the house down. Nevertheless, he's left the chance.
You didn't see that one, JJ. That's unlike you.
That's the Willie Mosconi path on the 5-rail kick he supposedly made on a straight pull shot coming out of the corner after being snookered.
Yeah, now the crowd has settled down. Fedor knows he's got a shot here, so he's got to take care of it, which he does. Starting to open up a decent little lead here. He's Gorst.
Oh, and the break shot's so on, it feels like a little bit bigger lead and a very dangerous lead as well. And really, I mean, I was going to say, and really, besides a safety that really went awry for Ko-Ping Chung, really hasn't been a whole lot he's done wrong.
Big miss, JJ. Big miss, that is.
Huge.
You talked about gambling there, JJ. We are in Atlantic City. Ko-Ping Chung took a gamble on red 3, made contact, seemed to have handed the rack away. What a moment this could be.
Yeah. The veteran realizes coming out of the pocket there, rail first, can be subtle. So making sure of things. And you know, there was been a few shots during this set that Fedor didn't hit the pocket as clean. You know, I'm not saying it was poor strokes or anything like that. It just happened to be. I'm not sure it really affected that one, but definitely off the mark. Well, we're not done with this 8th game quite yet. This is a difficult play here. Yeah, I like him taking that little extra time right there. It kind of felt like he was rushing it there for a moment. Now is he looking to soft draw 1 rail underneath for the 9 on the right side?
Yes, that's where he's aiming, JJ. How big is this ball? Needs to travel. He can shoot it in the corner. Done well there. Because he knows the importance. He knows how much this will hurt his opponent. Nineball into the far corner.
How has Ko-Ping Chung ended up winning that rack? Cue ball just managed to stay out of the side pocket. If it had fallen in, ball in hand, probably 6-2. Looked like it was going to be anyway, and then Gorst, with that astonishing miss on the 4, handed the initiative straight back. And instead of being 4 behind, Ko-Ping Chung is back to trailing by just 2. It's 5-3. So that is the miss on the 4. Doesn't look any better, no matter how many times you look at it. And if Fedor Gorst ends up losing this US Open final, that may well be the shot he's left to regret for a very long time. Still work for Ko-Ping Chung to do on most of those shots that he had left. This 9 from distance was still capable of being missed. But with that, Ko-Ping Chung has ended his run of 3 straight losing racks. He's right back on Gorst's shoulder now at 5-3.
Nineball moving towards the side. I think he's going to get a look at the blue too. Now, how good are you feeling, Carl, to shoot this on the side and tear into that 3 and 5 that are kind of grouped on the side rail? I think it's there.
Yeah, I think it's there. It's not easy. We know that, but you're going to be tempted at this one.
You can see the number 9 after Ko-Ping Chung's name there. That's his seeding. His world ranking is 10. He's a place higher because Eklund Kachi isn't here. Even if he loses the final, he'll climb to number 7 in the world. And like Gorst, if he wins it, he'll be the world number 4 coming away from here.
Yeah, and the U.S. Open title, I mean, those rankings mean a lot. The World Nineball Tour is doing things to where those rankings are meaning more every day, but the title itself, that's where it's at.
For sure, rankings are nice, but they can change. A title like this is forever. The other 2 Ko brothers enjoyed that.
Well, I think the last game was the first time I started to really see the heart pumping on Ko-Ping Young's chest, but I was going to say that 2-ball to me may have calmed him down, but now a huge miss. Did he think maybe he was going to use the purple there, Carl, to flick the 3 in?
Possibly. Maybe just misjudged the spin.
Extension.
He was trying to avoid the pink 4, which he did, but he's forgot to pot the 3. So Gorst, after that previous mistake in the last rack, he's back at the table with a chance to punish the Ko mistake and get the break back. Big couple of racks we've had here. Where's the cue ball? That's okay.
The break and runs were coming so freely and easily for Ko-Ping Chung. The semi-final earlier today. He's yet to have any in this final.
Okay, he doesn't want to threaten getting snookered here behind the 9, but he'll get a little closer than you would think. That way he doesn't have to move the cue ball a whole lot, shooting the 6 to the 7. May go past the 9 a little bit here, huh? Yeah, kept it simple. Just kind of hold the cue ball here with a straight draw. It'll be a fairly light stroke.
Timing is everything. Only one player will walk away as champion. Things could have gone a little different if Ko-Ping Chung would have run the rack and still had the break. Momentum is everything in pool. This is going to make Gorst feel a little better than he was about 3 minutes ago. He was shocked he missed that ball.
Well, they're even now, aren't they? Ko-Ping Chung capitalised on the error in the previous rack. Had the chance to build on it and get back to only 1 behind. But his own big error swung things back the other way. And now Ko-Ping Chung is back to where he started from, with a 3-rack deficit to try to overturn. Fedor Gorst leads the US Open final by 6 racks to 3. It's the final night of the US Open.
The 10th rack.
Fedor Gorst and Chung
Fedor Gorst is leading the match by 6 racks
both
to 3 in
reached
the
this showpiece occasion for the first time ever. That's Gorst with the upper hand, pouncing on Chung's unexpected miss to win the previous rack and lead 6-3. He's almost halfway to the target of 13.
Well, for the first time on the feature table, we've seen somebody miss the 1 ball. That was quite funny. Fedor held his hand up because he's seen the 7 ball tracking towards the side, but it didn't fall.
And as a result of that staying on the table, we have our first dry break of this final.
Well, the reason why we have that 7 over the side is we've seen a ball continually drift towards that at the end of the break. That's the back ball. The back ball in the rack, when hit well, goes 3 rails towards the side. And it is a random rack besides the 1 and 9. So pay attention if the 2's back there. I think he's got to push out to a better kick here.
Push out called.
Not sure what that is exactly, but a little gamesmanship here, maybe, Carl. You know, maybe testing Fedor to see if he wants to take on this kick.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot so far, but it's been the other way around. You can actually see the white mark on Fedor's chin. He puts talcum powder on his chin, doesn't he, when he's playing?
Yeah, the cue rubs against, gets so close. Well, he changes. If you ever watch him draw the ball, he's kind of like the old school players. It's more the tips in the center, and then the last stroke, the tip goes down. So I think that's where he catches his chin quite often. All right, this one's got to be hit solid with a little high ball, a little right English diving into the 1. That way the 1 carries underneath the pink. Oh, he caught it too full from behind. And the push out has been huge in this match so far.
Yeah, also, for instance, we say the push-out's been used, but if Ko didn't play the shot, and obviously Fedor did, would Fedor execute it better, do you think?
All right, I think he's got to maybe go 3 rails to short side here. Now this is where the racks, as the match goes, seem to always get more difficult. 3 covered up, the pink 4 all the way on the bottom end.
Extension, please.
I think he's got to take a chance. 3 rails here, or maybe zigzag between the 6-9, Carl, with low outside, low right. It's gonna spread off the 2nd rail, so you're gonna get in position to either play a nice safety on the 3, locking him behind the 8, or maybe continue the run. He's going 3 rails with inside. It's all about speed. Oh, the 3's playable. This is a big fooler to me with the camera. Is he playing a safety here? Cross corner bank?
Yeah, you can't put that in that corner.
I'm really surprised he didn't stay a little more aggressive trying to get to the back side of this 3 ball. He's going to really put some effort into this. A lot of speed, trying to make it tighten up.
It was a big shot to take on.
Well, that's why I imagined more speed. That way it got away from the pocket if it didn't go. I thought he would dig on the cue ball as well. Big moment for Chung. Does he just take it simply from the center of the table here? I think that's the play.
Called.
Yeah, he's just got to make sure he's got a shot on the pink 4 here. If he does get on the pink 4, all the balls are sat pretty, so why take a risk? The 4's far enough off the back rail. Even if you land on the kitchen line, as long as you're in that little gap, I think he's going to take a risk here.
coming down the left side of the table.
Yeah. This looks okay.
He's going to get a friendly bump.
Yeah, very friendly.
Yeah. Still got work, though. He fell funny. So does he play for the 5-7 combo to guarantee the make in the next shot? I think that was a smart play just because the speed he played it. He was never really going to get snookered, right?
Yeah, I think maybe it was a little thinner than we imagined as well.
Especially from so far away.
Playing JJ's shot. After potting this ball, he wants the 5 ball to just roll up a little bit. Cue ball will go forward. Doesn't want to... No, he's not going to make both balls, surely. Not going to hit it that hard. Okay, he's played for the side.
Interesting. He must have saw that any right side of the 7, you know, contact was going to hold the purple 5 over the pocket. And now, if he can get out, you know, we showed all those breaks, right? All those 11 breaks he had, and he's going to have to start getting that going. But it feels like it's been all Fedor Gorst for the most part in the early part of this match, and it's about to be 6-4. Or should be, let's say. Got an off angle here. Gonna have to draw to the right.
It's always one of the worst places to land that as a professional pool player. If he comes a little further out, he can just pull it down the left side of the table. It's easy. Now speed is everything. That's why he put a big stroke on it. Don't be fooled. What a shot from Chung.
And as you said there, Jeremy, it feels as though Fedor Gorst has had very much the upper hand, but he hasn't capitalised on that fully because Chung is only 2 behind at 6-4. Chung really hasn't come out of nowhere in terms of his form this year as we see these final moments again. He's been very consistent throughout 2023. Quarterfinals of the UK Open. 1 rack away, along with his brother Ko Pin-Yi, from the semi-finals of the World Cup of Pool in Spain over the summer. Just edged out by the eventual winners, the Philippines. And it was in the Philippines that he won quite a big tournament in late July. Got a lot of ranking points for that, took him into the world's top 10. Came here after a good run in the smaller ranking event in Connecticut last week. With a very strong field, got to the quarterfinals there. So he's been building towards this, had a lot of good tournaments in 23. It's been the year where he seems to have found the consistency that hasn't always been there in the past. Even though, as I was saying earlier, he's someone who's been in the habit of having good runs in tournaments.
Thank you. It's
big tournaments at that, from an early age. This year, he's strung together a number of them. And here he is, in with a chance of winning one of the very biggest of them all. Back to just 2 behind.
Incredible consistency this. I know we keep talking about it, but seeing in the previous break from Gorst where he missed the 1 ball, I just don't know how it's possible, JJ, to keep potting the one inside.
It seems like Chong's hitting the 9-ball when he comes across, like, not identically, but close. Does have the upper right. Very difficult shot. 7's covering up the right middle, which is what he's staring straight at.
Okay, Gorst is kicking at the 3 ball. This is where you need that little bit of luck on the grey bays. Gorst hits the 3. Does it go safe? does it leave Ko a difficult shot or an easy shot?
Yeah, just going one rail at it, looks like.
Trying to pop the ball. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is what I mean. Tried to hit the ball full. Thin snipped it, got the hook back. You can't beat a little bit of luck at the right time.
Yeah, and hard to blame him however he plays this kick, whether at one rail, two rails behind, coming 2 rails across it. He's going to try and come underneath. Now on the slick table, even though the 3's up quite a bit, if he puts a lot of speed into this, still scratch is possible.
The extension, please.
Going lefty.
Opportunity for Gorst. We'll need to get the cue ball swinging round.
Yeah, and of course he was shooting it lefty, but coming 2 rails behind it, which was the intent. Thought I'd see more speed on that kick shot, Carl. Trying to get that 3-way down table. Didn't hit it how he wanted, but speaking 3 rails here into position on the pink 4.
Okay, it's Gorst who's been making a couple of errors in the potting department. Didn't see him missing that one. Didn't see the earlier 4 ball. Run of the ball favouring Gorst at the moment. We know how quickly this can change.
Yeah, especially because Chung has still continually broke the balls great, right? Just not coming away with something to keep Fedor in the chair.
Similar shot as in the position for the 4. This is ideal.
What an absorbing Saturday night out they're being treated to in Atlantic City.
Okay, this is where come with a high ball and be aggressive, getting close to the 6. Really no bad angle. Just don't make it too extreme. He's cueing over this ball. And seems like when that elevation happens, it's easy to end up a little short with the cue ball. Certainly didn't want to be cueing over the 9 when shooting the brown 7, so position here important. He's got a couple options. He's got the angle to be able to go forward. Could draw 1 rail over. The 9's just such a big ball. Really got to commit here. Is he going to get over the 9 again? This could be okay.
Just pulled up in time to make this shot a gimme.
Please.
It's the 3rd or 4th phone that's gone off now. It's a little bit silly. Just because upon pulling the cue back, if that was to go off, that can make you jump.
Well, since Gorst went to 4-2, he's always had a lead of at least a couple of racks, but no longer. Chung is back to just a single rack behind. 6-5 in this wonderful United States Open final. Oh.
Let's go, Gorst. You got it, Gorst.
Well, I think it's time for another quiz, chaps.
Okay.
Chung, obviously, would be an Asian winner of the US Open. How many have there been?
Okay. Well, Efren Reyes.
Yeah, the first in 1994.
Kevin Chung.
Yes.
Chang,
oh,
yeah.
you do remember that then?
Yeah.
2015.
Alex Pagulayan.
Yeah, who was representing Philippines at the time. Now, of course, Canada.
Is that it?
Well, no, you've left out the easiest one.
The easiest one.
Yeah.
I guess it's of late. Someone of late. Who would that? Oh, Carlo Beato.
Carlo Beato, the 4th Asian winner of this championship 2 years ago. All-Asian final, of course, against Aloysius Yap. So what's the overall observation then about the final so far, JJ?
Oh, pure awesome. I mean, I think we've seen all kinds of different racks. A lot of involvement with both players, both with the cue in their hand and between the ears. And I think we see some of them feeling the pressure at times. So everything a U.S. Open final should have.
Yeah, it's not been all break and runs and fireworks. Just absorbing all-round play.
Is it going to come
cue
clean?
ball. Yes, it has done. So this time, JJ, unlike the previous time, can Ko-Ping Chung really punish that miss from Gorst? That's the thing with winner breaks. That's why I personally prefer winner breaks, because in alternate break, let's say Fedor missed the 3, lost the rack, but it was his break next, he might get a break and run. I always used to feel a bit cheated, you know, when that happened. It used to wind me up.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's pros and cons to both.
Of course.
But whenever you have the break rule correct and the pocket size and, you know, appropriate for the best players in the world, winner break is the way to go.
I think the shorter matches, alternate break, you've got to have really, otherwise it could be a landslide. But over this kind of distance or anything like it, yeah, I don't think there's much support for anything other than this.
Yeah, when you talk about a tour or a season long, then you can handle that winter break at some of those specialty events that aren't really so much tour events as much as bonuses of being good at great in the tour, right? Those you get a little more alternate break. All right, tricky little out. The 9, that's amazing. The people that devised the game, they knew where to put that spot at, because it always interferes with some positional plays. Like here in a moment, getting from the 4 to the 5 may be a little bit tricky. Big shot. So does he go with the heavy spin here, Carl, going between the 9-8, just above the 5, or does he just kind of go one rail? I like between the 9-8 myself.
Yeah, me too. And he's got such a fantastic cue ball. We've said this all year long. What's the line? There you see. That's what can happen with years of training. Hours, days, weeks, months, years. Fine-tune your cue ball control.
Yeah, important to get into this, though. That way it doesn't drift over kind of straight. See how he kind of pinched it real quickly, trying to hold the angle.
Well, him and his big brother, they're phenomenal at that type of shot. They really kill the cue ball well.
Yeah, his opponent in this final is pretty awesome at it as well. But it's a shot you must have.
We were talking earlier about players who have done the double of winning the World Championship and the US Open. Ko-Ping Chung won't fall into that category, even if he wins tonight. But between him and his brother, they've done it.
Yeah, Ko-Ping Yi is the current World Masters champion as well, so 2 of the big titles could be in the same house. He's having a worry. Didn't pocket the 7 in the center of the pocket. Went off the jaw.
Yeah, he's speeding up a little bit there for a moment. I think the stroke was doing the same. But I'll tell you what, you know, you get in the U.S. Open, and these players are all about technique, but they kind of forget about all that and just let the adrenaline take over.
It's taken him half a dozen attempts. But finally, Ko-Ping Chung has run out from a break in this match, and he's now won 3 racks in a row. It's level at 6-all.
6 racks each.
It's a different final now. Gorst was in control. Now it's anybody's.
Yeah, do you feel that maybe the break there, the timeout, couldn't have come at a better time for Gorst after missing a few shots that we would never expect?
Yes.
The 2 balls coming around. It's not easy.
Not easy. That's right. Not easy at all, but it's another 1 ball. I mean, how many breaks has he made the 1 ball on the spin now?
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to back down. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he's really feeling it. Now, he's got some safety options, but I wouldn't say they're easy. Now, this is the type of shot you don't want to draw. He'll use more of like a ricochet kind of bounce effect off the blue 2 to come 2 cushions. Try and get around the head string for another long one on the 3. More of like just a downward strike. Not really drawing the ball.
Oh my, JJ, what a poke that is.
Well, that's what I said. I really think he's feeling it. He's back in that feeling he had in the semifinal.
Talked about Copenhagen's World Master success. You think of Dang Jinhu winning the Spanish Open, Philippines winning the World Cup, Mohamed Soufi getting to the World Championship final, Anton Raga reaching the final in Germany last month. What a year it's been for players from Asia. Such a wide variety of them doing so well.
Yeah, Chung won the Sharks International over in the Philippines a couple of months ago, I think it was. What a field that was, but this has got a whole different feel about it, of course. This is arguably the biggest title in the world of Nineball, along with the World Nineball Championship.
I think that's why the double that Fedor Gorst is trying to complete tonight is so important, because that debate always goes on. Which is the bigger of the 2? Well, the way to resolve that in terms of your own career is to win them both.
Yeah, it looks like a safety, and it's got to go. Got to go a bit.
Forgot to play the stun run through. Wanted the cue ball through a little more.
I think he was worried about maybe accidentally making the bank with a little stun, because he had to cut it a hair to get the cue ball a little closer to the 7.
Extension, please.
And just the out was so tough. The 4 was playable, but look where the 6 was. The 7 didn't go by the 8. So I know it's hard for him to pull on the reins, those offensive reins at the moment, but I think a good decision. Watch out for the 9-ball action here, huh? If he hits the top side of the pink coming off the side cushion, I think he's just going for the all-out make of the pink in the corner, 1 rail. Okay. Normally you would say he's, at least he's got to come with a shot, but I don't feel like this is much of a problem at the moment for Chung.
Do you think Fedor will be sat in the chair thinking about the missed pot on the 3 ball?
I don't, not dwelling. I mean, of course, he has a lot of time on his hands considering his opponents at the table. But his process is so good. Can't be the player he is without leaving things behind, at least decently. Look at this. He's killing the ball. Thought he'd come across, but he's just going to kill it there.
So good at that shot, the Ko brothers, not just Chung.
Yeah, when you're close, you can really kill it. And, you're going to be real accurate with the make on the 6. We always talked about pound for pound, Alex Pagulayan being the best on the planet. I'll tell you, that little title might be handing off to Chung. He's just got a ton of heart. Up against it in this match early, and now for his first lead.
Well, he was briefly ahead after winning the opening rack.
He did win the opener.
And that's the only time he's been in front. until now. And as we slip just past the halfway point in terms of potential racks in this final, Ko-Ping Chung eases back into the lead at 7-6. That's 4 in a row he's won now. So as I was saying earlier, whoever wins will be the 12th non-US player to win the title, although it'll be the 14th time in total that it's happened, because Mika Immonen and Darren Appleton both won it on 2 occasions, both of them going back-to-back. Not hard to spot where the momentum is now, Carl.
No, he's flipped over Ko-Ping Chung, the man on the right, having a little snack, getting a little bit of food in the body, maybe a little bit of sugar. He's stayed patient, got the temperament. He's had to, because it's all been Gorst. Gorst had a few little flicks here and there, bit of run of the ball. Missed 2 balls you expect him to pot. The first miss didn't get punished because Ko-Ping Chung then missed the 3 ball. The second one has been punished with a break and run. And even in that rack, when Fedor kicked out the 4 ball he potted,
14th rack.
Underrated. It was long.
Ko-Ping Chung to break.
Can be missed. He just slid in
by 7 racks to 6.
like it was over the pocket, and he's probably on about 20 breaks now where he's made the one in the side. This is just becoming silly. That shows you that it's not easy, because you could see the 1 ball went off both jaws, but it went in.
Yeah, really ugly 2-ball situation with the black 8 and the pink 4. Don't think the 4 plays. Tell you, this is kind of a little difficult to play the safety as well. You could chip it, just kind of drag the cue ball towards the 8 and 4. Could be a long game here. Now here, if that's what you're doing, you just never hit it hard enough to scratch.
It's like a bowls shot where the ball just rolls up from a long distance and nestles up to its target. Wonderful judgment.
Yeah, and he almost hit the 8 and 4 enough to open it up for a future shot. Is he going to break this out? Wow, what a shot.
Well, JJ, you said he's a master with the short stick. He just proved it. He's having a look though. Does this? Surely he can.
Look how square he hit the cue ball, though. No side spin at all, right?
Yeah, that's tough, yeah.
I think he needed a shot like that to reclaim his jump shot crown after Ko-Ping Chung's exploits in that department tonight.
JJ's having a look, so he feels like he can pot this ball. We thought it was tied up. Maybe it was tied up. Maybe when the cue ball come off Ko's shot, it did open this ball up a little bit.
He's going to catch the 8 coming out. Didn't know if it was ever really going to get out of there, because all the focus was on the pink. I mean, tried to put a little backspin, but really didn't want to lose accuracy, and a foul. Whew. Big shot here, and a hard one to put much speed on. It's a very shallow angle, and anytime you're behind the ball, it's hard to explain, but it's not the friendliest object ball going to the hole there with the side. It kind of wants to bobble a little bit.
What's he going to leave? Well, he's going to leave a nice little angle. It wasn't easy, to be fair, as JJ said. It was very tight into the middle pocket. You've almost got to just, in some way, just forget about the cue ball.
Yeah, the only problem was the natural was going towards the upper corner, so he had to manipulate it a little bit, and there was really no safety. That was the other problem.
Just needs a good shot here. Well, that will help.
Yeah, another one of those kill strokes that you were talking about. They excel at so much. Now he's looking at that 7-8 combo. Just options, right? So he doesn't want to be shooting a 7 near the rail and going away from the 8 with the angle. So even though this looks fairly routine, lots going on here. He's really hitting everything just about perfect.
Yeah, that's just come off the rail. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, and that's a light drag. So what happens is cue ball has spin, but then the spin lightens up as it gets towards the object ball. And it's not something you can really gauge. You just kind of got to feel the swing.
Yeah, important shot to have in the locker.
Oh, absolutely, especially on the slick table. I think Ralph Souquet made his career on that shot. Efren Reyes as well.
And we said after the last rack, it was the first time Chung had been ahead since he had won the opener. One thing which hasn't happened yet in this final is him leading by more than one. Until now, it's 5 in a row for Chung. He leads Fedor Gorst 8 racks to 6.
Well, you know, earlier we looked at the stat line, right? And the one that I saw that could be alarming, like say you weren't watching the match, was 5 missed safeties from Chung. And I think that's just, you know, from having to push out so difficultly, you know, and then Fedor passing it back and a couple little situations. So it doesn't seem like it's been missed balls for Chung. That's why I still feel he's so strong in this match. And maybe a little bit of a problem for Fedor Gorst.
And I don't know about you, Carl, but it looks to me that the closer we get to the end of this final, the more relaxed and comfortable Chung is looking.
I think Chung is at complete ease with his cue action. I think we've seen it on the shot to get on the 7 ball in the middle, a little drag shot, just to bounce off every shot he's playing, even in the semi-final. The cue ball is just literally finishing as if he's got ball in hand.
Yeah, and taking all the tough ones. Remember 2 games ago after the break from the side rail on that 2 ball he took on, stunned it around, got on the 3, played a nice safety on the 4, and still in business now.
And we use that term, sorry Carl, I was going to say we use that term in the zone in sport, and if you wanted to demonstrate to someone what that actually means, I think these last few racks with Chung would do a good job.
Yeah, I think the entire day today.
Chung to break, leading by 8 racks to 6.
And it's at this point in the evening that we welcome viewers on Sky Sports main event. Welcome along to the US Open final, the most historic championship in pool. It's been around since 1976. Chung is giving himself a very good chance of winning it for the first time. He was 6-3 down here against Fedor Gorst. He's won 5 in a row, and he's got a chance to extend that streak here. 13 will claim the title.
Don't know if he can avoid balls here. Is he digging in? He's very good at this type of shot as well. He's good at every shot, let's not be silly, but really gets a lot out of the cue ball. I think it's because he's got such a high tip.
Well, he's not afraid to hit low on the ball. On the slick table, if you understand it, it's actually easier to pull the ball because you generally can hit the ball a hair thicker on most shots.
And this is why when you're at the table in 9-ball, and there's a few balls left, you can't really afford to miss easy balls. When Fedor missed the 3-ball in the side, we'd have all backed him to pot it. Since then, the match has turned over. Chung.
And if you remember that, Chung played one of his nicest safeties of the match. Fedor kicked warp speed, barely thinning the 3, got the snooker in return. The kick didn't work out for Chung, but then the big miss 3-ball on the side, like Carl said.
You guys said at the start of the match, wouldn't be many mistakes. The nature of them, when they happened and who made them, could decide the final.
Well, I mean, Alexa Pazelj had a great tournament, and I think we're going to see him back in a big setting here soon. But we were often wondering, you know, what's going to happen after a big mistake, and we saw him kind of compound a little bit. Wasn't a lot of them, but it was just enough to get Federer across the line. But here with these two, they're obviously going to make a mistake. That's how Nineball pool is, but they rebound incredibly. And I think this guy's one of the best at that, in my opinion.
Well, he was your pick at the start of the tournament, JJ.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was going to be tough conditions. I played in many of these U.S. Opens. They're always tough pockets. They're always sticky tables on this East Coast, and everyone's going to miss. It's all about who can leave it behind.
You know, he only picked Chung because I told him he wasn't allowed to pick an American this time. But it was a good pick. And things are looking very good for Chung. His second break and run of the match. He's now won half a dozen racks in a row. He leads 9-6 and only needs 4 more. What a different final it is now. Chung was 6-3 down to Fedor Gorst. But since then, he's moved up to another level. Everything going his way. And now he's firmly in control of matters. 6 in a row he's won. 9-6 is the lead. These are some of the moments which have taken him there. Fedor Gorst, desperate to find a way back into this final.
Thank you. Settle down, please. The 16th rack.
Chung.
Chang to break.
Making life very difficult for him at the moment. 4 away from the biggest moment of his pool playing life.
Oh, the break's getting stronger.
Where's the 3 going?
And the results are getting better.
He's getting into the habit of making multiple balls off the break. 3rd time it's happened in the last 6 racks.
Yeah, and you asked about those mistakes and the thoughts from Fedor Gorst, and the more Chung puts these racks together, it's a little easier to kind of dwell on that.
Yeah, Ko's temperament is so good. I remember many moons ago when I was playing matches, let's say if it was in this scenario, this scoreline, and I broke and the balls come out like that, I'd be thinking, oh, it's my night, this. I can't lose. And then before you know it, it's like 11-11.
Well, you know, everyone, that's the thing. You got to go with yourself, you know. And Carl, that's probably what won you a lot of titles at times too, is having that confidence. And I think he does too. They work a little different way, I think, than maybe Carl Boys did in his career. You know, they really train to where it's all a pretty even mix.
Yeah, you just get the feeling it's literally ball and rack at a time with these. It's almost like, well, whether I'm 9-6 up or 9-1 down, it doesn't matter. I'm just at the table in the moment.
Right, and that shows you a little comfort there. A lot of players would have just stopped there, taken a little simpler shot on the 3. Now he's in prime position to come up for the 6.
Corey Jewell, the 2001 US Open champion, if he's watching this, might be feeling a certain sense of satisfaction because he's actually had a win against Chung this week. It's double elimination in the early rounds of this US Open. And after Ko eased past the British player Lawrence Thomason for the loss of only 1 rack, he was beaten by Corey Jewell. So had to win 3 matches on the loser's side just to get to the final 64, single elimination, and almost didn't do it. It was 1 rack away from going out in the loser's qualification round before getting past Radoslav Babica.
Yeah, he had some tough ones and trailed in some matches, just like this one.
The extension, please.
Well, it was close against Alexander Kazakis in the last 64. Only got home 10-8. Jeff DeLuna was beaten 10-3. 10-5 win over Joshua Filler was the one that really made us all sit up and take notice. And finished so strongly to see off Max Lechner. And then that performance for the ages against Lucius Yap earlier today.
Just took a little bit of time there. He knew he had to put a bit of English on it, because the cue ball had come over a little far on the previous.
Yeah, that's a funny shot on the 7, but now to double digits.
Took him until the 12th rack to have his first break and run of the final. Now he's at 3, including 2 in a row. And from 6-3 down, Chung remarkably leads Fedor Gorst by 10 racks to 6. When you think back on past US Open finals, and you've both been to that occasion in years gone by, how does this performance from Chung compare to what we've seen down the years?
Oh, go ahead, Carl.
Well, I mean, semi-final and final, I think he just left off from the previous match. Listen, I knew he weren't going to come and play terrible. He's not got that in the locker, but I think overall it's been absolutely splendid. The fact that he's been down, he knows most of the crowd want Fedor to win as well. It's almost like Fedor's on home soil, so he's got that to deal with. He just sits in the chair, winning or losing, looks exactly the same. Cue ball control is phenomenal. He makes the game look easy. There's a lot of shots he's playing where you can miss the ball, you can mess the position up. I think it's been fabulous so far.
Rack 17, Chang to
That
break.
was the British player Lawrence Thomason we saw there, smiling at the camera, giving us the thumbs up. It was against him that this run began from Chung. Here he is now playing his 11th match of the week, the biggest of his life.
Oh, I didn't hear anything down. And I was going to say that that of course it's 9-ball pool and nothing's over, especially with Fedor Gorst as his opponent. But what's impressed me about this match for Chung is there's been a lot of hurdles early. There's been a lot of obstacles and things he had to come over, you know, get by.
Looked a little thin, the break, didn't it? Cue ball seemed to squirt quite low. That's why he missed the one for the first time.
Yeah, and you know, I get a little technical sometimes. Wow, he's pushing out here? Why would you push out here? This I don't understand. There's a cut on the one, Carl. Can you tell me what he's thinking here?
Well, especially on the slidey table. I know we talk about this a lot, but...
Yeah, this is like really makeable ball there on the one. And again, what kind of mistake can he see coming from Chung? I think maybe a better chance of a hair of a mental error than physical error. I don't really see either of those happening.
Do you think because he's not had much table time since the miss 3, he felt he would play a different strategy rather than get down and maybe miss the one and then leave Cole with a shot over the pocket?
Yeah, but the thing I see about the players today that I think maybe overall separates a lot of them from years ago is understanding I have to be aggressive here. What my opponent is doing, you know what I mean?
I get it. Just don't know why he didn't go for the one.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. I think, you know, if he doesn't have the rollout option, if it's a shot or two into the rack, there's no decision there. Can he see a piece of this? I guess he can get a piece.
No, he could get a piece. Needs this to travel. This is going to come up short. Way short.
Yeah, he really had his mind on containing the one, knowing there was no guaranteed snooker. This is right on the fence. I mean, if you shoot the combination, I just don't think it's a terrible shot. It's not easy. The safety's a little funny as well. He's going to try and bank the one around the 7, trying to utilize the purple, maybe the 8.
Got a great one ball. Got to keep the heat on your opponent. Don't sell out. Don't give them something easy. Don't let them, you know, get to the table with an easy pot, because that's what will get a bit more momentum and a bit more confidence back in the back arm of Gorst. This is tricky, awkward cueing.
1 by the 6, cue ball behind the 2-9. Oh, he's going the other way. This is all speed control. All speed control, and it's going to be close.
It is going to be close, but that is a prime example. Fedor's under the gun. So even though the safety shot, I'm not saying it was a mega difficult safety shot, but when you're under pressure, you've not had a lot of table time. Look at that. That is what Cote is faced with. It's come on the big screen. The crowd know.
Well, the 2-4 combinations there.
The extension, please.
I think the 2-9 is a little too much off angle. Yes, it is. And I thought he would play the other safety, playing the 1 near the 6 in the cue ball on the other side. Now he had to maybe spin it to get that done. But yeah, he wanted a little more out of the cue ball there. You could hear a little groan. But the thing is, a lot of times, especially the players these days, they kind of know the mistake in the stroke. They understand the technique. So when they make a mistake, it's easy for them to repair it, even though they have to take on a tough shot doing so. Yeah, and I don't know. still a little baffled by the shot after the break, and especially after what the first dry break in about a day and a half for Chung. It almost was like it's in the cards to start attacking after that dry break for Fedor Gorst, and he decided to push out.
Yeah, and as we approach the end of this match, you know, this is for the title, this is for the history. You might see a little bit more of a dodgy break, if that's what you can call it. You know, it's easy to tighten up on the break and maybe put a bit of unwanted English on the cue ball. This is what I love about Colo. He just doesn't look like a player who's going to do something weird when the balls are in the open.
Been talking at different times over the last few days about the top of the world rankings, the guys who've been winning the big titles over the last few years. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has faded a bit since his wonderful run. Shane Van Boening hasn't had the year he would have hoped for. Joshua Filler has maybe been a bit frustrated at times, and the likes of Albin Ocean really faded away from the very top of the game. So there's a discussion to be had as to who's the best player in the world. And when you consider that tournament you mentioned, Carl, that Chung won recently, Quezon City, if he wins this as well, and allied to his overall consistency this year, maybe there's a case for him.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we've had U.S. Open champions, just a couple that really kind of came from nowhere that year, or maybe those couple years. Ooh.
Wow. Okay. That proves how difficult these shots can be. Just fired it into the rail with that little bit of pace.
It also proves the dangers of a commentator describing someone as perhaps the best player in the world.
Yeah, you can see the fans feeling the emotion with Chung. Yeah, this was always going to be funny. This was always going to be funny. Anytime the ball's hanging and you're coming across from the middle of the table.
The extension, please.
It's very hard to predict not only the cue ball speed, but kind of the line on the cue ball. This is where the training comes in. You got to ignore some things and just knock a tough ball in.
Huge, huge shot coming up here on the brown 7.
Yeah, I might simplify it here. He may just go right at the 8 with the cue ball, trying to simplify this shot on the 7.
Watch outside pocket.
Watch out is right. Watch out is right.
Ball in hand.
Well, this is disastrous for Gorst. He was at the table after the Koping Chung mistake, a rare mistake in the balls for little Ko. Gorst has not capitalised.
Yeah, and he almost knew it before it caught the 3rd rail. It was going to be close. Hit the 7 clean. And I think he did the right thing, simplifying the shot.
Well, there hasn't been much opportunity coming the way of Fedor Gorst during this remarkable run from Chung. But the door was opened a little twice in that rack, and still Chung has won it. 8 in a row now, and he can start to see the finish line, the Barry Berman Trophy and the US Open title coming into view, because he only needs 2 more racks. It's a sweet feeling.
Yeah, when JJ was talking about the shot on the 7, just take your meds and knock it in and just hope it's your day. This particular shot, on the 6 ball over the pocket, I'd have thought like that on that shot. I'd have just chipped in with loads of speed and just hope I don't find one of the corners and just get back up.
Or even draw it. He's got a great draw stroke as well.
Just
put
get
some power in it.
Yeah, just get it up there and see where it lands.
Yeah.
Well, whoever loses this final now will have some regrets to look back on. Fedor Gorst will have
18th rack.
Plenty about that rack.
Chung to break. leading by 11 racks to 6.
The rare dry break, the unexpected miss. They gave Gorst a chance. But the run continues. 11-6 to Koping Chung.
A little body language there on the break. The one back down, though. And he's got a little angle on the 2 to get naturally to the 3. And maybe on to the hill.
Yeah, the 3 or 4 mistakes we've seen from Gorst in the last kind of 20-30 minutes seem to be, to me, that they're going to cost him, because Chung just looks too strong. I know he just missed the 6th ball, didn't get punished. That will wake him up a little bit, and he's got a nice chance here to get on the hill. And from 12-6, JJ, that would be a tall order.
Yeah, especially, I mean, it just seems like it's a little in the cards with some mistakes from Fedor and how Koping Chung has played. But was it 6-3 that Fedor led? Is that right, Mike?
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on. Didn't look like the sort of final where either player was going to go on a run anything like this.
Even though it's 11-6, because it's not been one-sided, it feels close. We've seen plenty of shots from
absolutely,
both players.
Yeah. A lot of interaction in each game. Several games with both players. And, this is a shot he used earlier, just a one-rail stun at the ball that you got to kind of learn. But I don't know. I think I stay away from that here. I either come underneath the 8. Or I go 2 rails forward to where he's looking at there. I like 2 rails forward, really.
Yeah, missed the 6.
Yeah, the 5 goes. It goes by the 6. So you can handle a little cut on the 4 to go back and forth. You don't have to get, like, kind of straight on the 4. Yeah, and really the Ko brothers, they practice that back and forth shot probably as much as any. He played the stun. That one rail stun, though, going to different places is such a huge shot, especially under the pressure and when the slick table, you know as well as I do, you start putting a lot of side, it can certainly get away from you.
Yeah, it's not easy to hit centre ball. The higher your level goes up, I think a lot of professionals always prefer to play with some sort of English. So when you've got to hit centre ball, I always found it a bit weird, a bit of an odd moment.
I'm actually very rarely center ball. I have to be close to the ball to be comfortable with center. I think it's kind of like golf where they chip it and spin it and control the ball. It's a controlling feeling for the better players.
Yeah, it's like when you have a ball on the rail and you're just off straight. You always play with that bit of spin, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to use a rail here. He could kill the ball or draw to the side rail. There's more angle.
Pure ball striking. That's what Koping Chung possesses. Just gets through the ball. Very nice.
But don't you think it's improved in the last year and a half or so? I mean, it was always good, but I think it's just gotten better.
Yeah, I mean, wins. When you're winning tournaments like that over in the Philippines with that type of field, I mean, that's got to help.
Yeah, you really start to believe in it more and more. That's a funny shot as well on the slick table. You got to kind of smooth it into position or else the ball can arc on you.
After his dominant performance in the semi-final earlier today, as dominant as you'll ever see, really, against Lucius Yap. Bit of a come down at the start of this final. Had to adjust to a different sort of contest and things weren't going his way. But since this final started to turn around, he's just got stronger and stronger and stronger. And now he's on the hill, 1 rack away from winning the United States Open. Go Sanchez. Ruiz was the champion 12 months ago. Went on to become champion of the world a few months later. At that time, he was the undisputed best player in the world. Maybe Chung is staking his claim to that accolade tonight. He's certainly closing in on the Barry Berman Trophy. From 6-3 down, he's turned it around against Fedor Gorst to lead 12-6. Growing in strength as the final goes on. And now looking for just a single rack to claim the greatest moment of his pool playing life. He knows what it means, but overall, you'd have to say, he's looking calm and comfortable with what he might be about to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably just the same routine when exiting the arena on the break. And speaking of the break, he's learned this a long time ago, like we all did. This is his last of this final. So don't think about scratching, don't do anything, just keep doing exactly what you've been doing. I made that mistake so many times, not wanting to give up ball in hand on my last break, and then it was a kind of a dud. Maybe it doesn't cost you, but it's not the best feeling.
Yeah, he's just waiting for Fedor. Fedor's just walking back into the building now, so it'll be just a few seconds, but you can see Chung is breathing, getting the air in the lungs. He knows he's on the hill. He's got the break for the title.
Fedor Gorst must be a bit stunned by this. Wouldn't be natural if the head wasn't spinning a little after the way this is all turned around. One more needed.
Okay, 5-ball needs to stop, and he'll have a shot at the 2.
He's got that shot. Yeah, he's got it. He's got it. He's got a natural path around the 8 to swing the cue ball right of the pink and back up table for the red 3. It's a kind of a floater a little bit, Carl, to hit the numbers on the entire shot. Little speed control needed.
I wonder what Fedor Gorst is thinking. Early on in this match, JJ, he was 6-3 up. Everything was looking good for Fedor. He missed that pink 4 in the corner. That might have put a seed of doubt. Then he missed that big 3-ball.
Well, as far as the speed's going to be great here. Now the pink 4 is definitely the shot now that he's got the 2 down. But, you know, as much the pink 4 you missed earlier, you know, when you were talking about, is I think that did a lot for Chung as far as like, okay, I'm going to get back on the board here. It's not going to get a little sideways early. And I'm just curious, you know, if he does get out here, at some time, you know, Federer will shake this off, and I'd love to ask him why he didn't attack on that 1 ball when it was, what, 8-6, 9-6?
Yeah, but if you remember, the very next rack, Chung missed the 3-ball in the corner. Fedor got out, but it was the rack after where he missed the other 3-ball in the side. So it was that little section of the match where, as you said, did it affect Fedor mentally? He didn't want to attack the 1 ball that you just spoke about. Then he played a bit of a loose safety in that rack, didn't he, where he was about 2 feet off pace.
Extension, please.
Yeah, at this level, you know, misses surprise you, but then you know they're going to happen. But some of maybe that couple choices, and that's the one that really shocked me. There's that kill stroke again that has been one of his best friends the entire tournament. And that the key to that is you can't let up. You have to dig on the ball and understand the tip position is what slows it down, not really the swing.
If he finishes it off right here, right now, talk about a dash for the line. It will be 4 break-and runs in the last 5 racks.
This one's a little funny with the 9 there, drawing it or going forward with the 8.
Well, centre of the table for the brown 7 would be absolutely ideal, because he can then cut the 7 in, come over to the left side of the table. What a chance this is. He has played phenomenal, considering he was 6-3 down.
Yeah, almost really just replace where the cue ball's at now.
settle down.
He's powered the ball nicely. He can draw it up the right rail. Don't force it if it's not there. I don't think where he's at here, he'll get to the rail before the side, so catching the point, not really a problem.
Yeah, I think that's smart, JJ. All he needs is a little bit of right English. Send it onto that rail. It'll pull it back down. See the English?
Yes.
Oh, this is it. This is it, people.
Yeah, just a little floater, or he can come above the 9 for the corner. I think he'll ease it in, play for the side.
Yeah, and like modern day sports.
He did come above. And he's a happy man now.
Everybody watching has got the phones out. Everybody in the arena have got their phones out. Koping Chung, this 9-ball.
They came to Atlantic City from lands far flung, and the last man standing is Koping Chung. Because with a remarkable run of 10 racks in a row, he has defeated Fedor Gorst 13-6, and he is the United States Open champion of 2023.
Oh boy.
Be careful, boys.
I think they may have done this before.
Brothers in arms, they have him in their arms.
I think that proposition a little easier with Koping Chung being the one held.
Do you think they've been practicing that all week in the room?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen a lot of these finals, and they're usually always a very deserving champion, but I don't know if I've ever seen any more than Koping Chung this week.
Yeah, coming to today, Michael, didn't he? 4 players left. The semi-final was a clinic. The final was a clinic.
And this was the moment his dreams came true. He had to take the long road. He lost his second match to the former champion, Corey Jewell. He was 1 rack away from missing out on even making the 64-player single elimination stage. He's played 11 matches. It's taken him a total of 158 racks. And that's why he has been hoisted by his fellow co-brothers high into the arena here at Harrah's Resort in Atlantic City, a place where the US Open has made its home for the last 3 years, and where we have another wonderful champion. Fedor Gorst will have to wait a little longer if he's to join that list of players who've won both of the game's 2 biggest titles. Here are the numbers. Sum it all up for us, chaps.
Yeah, I tell you, if you look at Ko's side, you know, the ones that were alarming halfway through the match with the stats, well, those are still the same. All the other ones just grew and grew and grew, the positive ones, right, Carl?
Yeah, in the end, it was all about Koping Chung. What a player.
You look at those 5 break-and runs there, they all came towards the end of the match. They were all in the last part of it. Didn't have his first until the 12th rack. So it was actually 5 of those in the last 8 racks of the contest. Remarkable stuff. Let's get down then to the presentation. Here's Hannah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a final we just witnessed. Please give a huge round of applause to our 2 finalists. What a competition. Okay, we've got quite the cast on the floor with us as well. Let's get this presentation underway, starting with our runner-up this evening, Fedor Gorst. Fedor, first of all, I mean, very well played. You had a brilliant tournament, but what a final.
Yes, thank you so much. I feel very defeated right now, but I'm sure in a couple of days it's going to be gone. And, you know, I've had a great tournament, great run. Thanks a lot, guys, for the great atmosphere. Thank you. You know, it's a completely different feeling to play with a crowd like that.
Well, look, very well played. We have really enjoyed watching you over the last couple of days. Dan Gallagher from the Atlantic City Sports Commission is here to present you with your runners-up plaque. Okay, well, this is what we've all been looking forward to as well. Sal Mancuso from Caesars Entertainment has got the winner's plaque to present to your 2023 champion, Chung. We've got plenty to give you, Ko. Also along on stage with us are two of Barry Burnham's children, Brady and Shannon, and it's time that we put this all-important green jacket on you, Ko. It looks good on you. It looks very good on you. And Shannon, you have the honours of handing over that fantastic trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2023 US Open champion! I have to.